The final state Liberal government left in the country is on tenterhooks after the resignations of two of its MPs over concerns about the new AFL stadium in Hobart. The Tasmanian government is now in minority after both MPs aired concerns about the state debt and government transparency around the planned $715 million stadium. And they're not the only ones. Thousands of angry residents gathered on the lawns of Parliament House over the weekend to let the state government know their feelings, including independent federal senator Jackie Lambie. She had an eloquent message for the Premier. Have a listen.
Tasmanians have had a bloody gutful over your stadium, and you can stick it up your bum.
Now, the federal government has also copped a lot of flack for granting $240 million to the new stadium, but they were apparently won over by its business case. And that business case was the work of none other than Professor Tim Harcourt from UTS, host of The Airport Economist and author of Footynomics, the economics of sport. He joins me now. Thank you for your time. Do you realise you've pretty much brought down or about to bring down the Tasmanian government? Explain yourself.
Who knew that economics of sport could be so contentious? Well, I was asked today, would my next trick be to bring down or to split the Tasmanian Labor opposition, because I understand 3 members may cross the floor to support the stadium. And of course, there's David O'Byrne, the independent Labor MP and a very good footballer for Adelaide Uni. He may also vote with the government as well. So there's plenty going to be going on, Rita, I think, in Hobart, in the Parliament.
Well, convince me, why should all this money, $240 million from the federal government, you've got $375 million from the Tasmanian state government, why should that public money be spent on this stadium?
Well, Rita, poor old Tassie's been waiting 33 years, so 240 over 33 years is not very much. And even now, if you compare it to the 3.8 bill going to Brisbane for the Olympics and the Paralympics, then a Tassie team, for the next 100 years, that's quite cheap, I think, if you consider the type of investment they can do in a good footy state.
Now, I do wonder, Tim, whether the opposition is purely political. In recent days, I've seen some long-term campaigners for a Tasmanian team suddenly do a backflip. And I wonder whether bringing down the Tasmanian government is a bigger priority for some than having their own team.
Yeah, look, I think it's bigger political risk for Beck White, the Tasmanian Labor opposition leader. I mean, to lose 2 elections in a row and then lose Tasmania, its team, after 33 years, you don't want to have that record. So I think that's big risk. And a lot of people are under this impression that, we just want a team playing at Bellerive and at York Park, but we don't want the stadium. Well, it's pretty clear. You don't support the stadium, you won't have a team. The AFL will take it off the table. So I think people have to really think what they're doing when they're campaigning against the precinct. It's not just a stadium, it's the whole arts, sport and entertainment precinct, the whole piece of infrastructure. You campaign against that, you'll lose the money, you'll lose the $240 million, you'll lose the $360 million from the AFL, and you won't have a team.
And according to your analysis, there's going to be a lot of money generated because of this stadium and Tasmania having its own team. We're talking about $2.2 billion over a certain number of years, a lot of construction jobs. Are all those figures kosher? Because, you can make economic data do anything if you try hard enough.
Well, my grandfather was a trainee rabbi, Rita, so he knew all about things being kosher. All I can say is that you've got the construction of the precinct. You're going to have the entertainment, the events, the conventions, the conferences, the concerts in the precinct. You'll have all those benefits. You saw with Gather Round in South Australia what a success that was. You saw in Perth with Optus Stadium, Coldplay's sold out at its concerts. So I think Tasmanians will see, once they have this precinct on the beautiful Hobart waterfront, they're going to see enormous benefits, not just in the construction, but a lot of the entrepreneurial activity that they'll have around Tasmania. It's a beautiful place, Hobart, and you can just see the precinct adding so much value to the whole state and particularly to the city.
Well, I think you've sold me, Team Harcourt. That is a compelling case indeed. No wonder you've managed to do what some thought was impossible for Tasmania to have their own team. Thank you so much for your time this evening.